changing an air filter is very simple.
New cars today, you're looking at lines of code.
It's time for DriveWithMe-TV.
This is DriveWithMe-TV.
With your host, Dave Jigster.
So get behind the wheel with me, Dave Jigster, for DriveWithMe-TV.
Hi, I'm Dave Jigster from 97 Rock. Welcome to DriveWithMe-TV, Western New York's only automotive television show. On this edition, Beat the Champ sportscaster Paul Peck is in the driver's seat with my friend John Sciullo. Find out what's under the hood from Pete, the car whisperer, and take a test drive in one of the coolest coupes in town. So let's get rolling with Paul Peck.
All right, we start with the handshake.
All right, I'm on a Zarconia here today.
Is this Beat the Champ?
It's like Beat the Champ. Yeah, we're not, this is not a competition.
No, it is. We're going to drive with Paul Peck, Drive With Me TV. Let's see what we got. You've lived through some of the most amazing Buffalo sports events in the last 20 years, when you think about it.
And I think one of the things I learned from Van was how important sports is to this town and how much you need to respect people's interest and knowledge of it when you're one of the conduits for it, I guess, and that's what's great about this town is it means so much to people here. And because it means so much, that they know they're smart, you better get it right. You mess up a name or you get a fact wrong and you get a phone call about it.
Oh, yeah,
that doesn't happen in a lot of places, but honestly, I think that's what helps me and a lot of the other good sportscasters in this town. It drives you to be as good as you can be.
Your connection now with University of Buffalo is so significant, and you're the voice of the UB Bulls on every level, and it has been an exciting run, and it means a lot to the university and to the whole nation when they see Buffalo rise in sports prominence.
Partly because it's new, John. I mean, it's let's be honest, this is arguably, not even arguably, it's the greatest year in UB athletics history because they achieved things that hadn't been achieved before, and all of this is new there. I mean, there have been bowl games before and there were NCAA trips before, but to be a top 25 ranked basketball team, to have 4 or 5 guys potentially going in the NFL draft and to be on the brink of a potential top 25 ranking in football, those things never happened before. There's something cool to be a part of it when it happens for the first time.
So we're driving now, and we're on Drive With Me TV, and what are we driving here, Paul?
We are driving a 2019 GMC Terrain that I got last fall. I had a bunch of sedans, and there was nothing wrong with driving cars for a while, and my wife always had the SUV or the minivan with the kids and stuff, so I always kind of had the car. I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I want a little more room, I want a little better ride in the wintertime, so I made the upgrade to the SUV, and I love it. It's a good truck, it rides really well, it's got room, it's not too big, I don't need too much room, but every once in a while when you got to throw something in the back, it's nice to not have to worry about it.
Do you golf, Paul?
I do.
Just throw the golf clubs
Throw the golf clubs in there, yep. I mean, again, just not to not have to worry about it, and again, it's great in the wintertime. It's nice sitting up high. I've had SUVs before, and I kind of miss them. So, there's a reason why not only in Western New York, but around the country, they're selling more of them than cars. I think people see the value in having something like this that's kind of half car and half truck.
What was your first car, do you remember?
My first car, John, was the coolest car I have ever had. 1966 Mustang.
You had a 66 Mustang?
I did. And this would have been...
What color was it?
It was like a tan color. It was okay. It wasn't the candy apple red that everybody wants it to be.
But it was a Mustang.
So this would have been the mid-'80s when this happened. And it was in good shape. It needed a little bit of work. And my dad and I kind of did a little bit of that work to get it to the point where I could drive it to school and drive it to high school, and it was a great car, and it was quirky. It was a 1966 car. It had an AM radio in it, and there was a few things about it that weren't quite even what 80s standards were back then, but it was a 66 Mustang.
We were a part of these iconic, with Rick Azar at Channel 7 and you with Van Miller, But now, flash forward, look how sports coverage has changed. You have a website now that you work on, and tell us about that.
Well, you know, sports coverage as news coverage as well has completely changed now. It's to think back of what it was when we first got into the business in 1988, when there was a 6 and 11 o'clock news and that was it, you know, and if you covered Sabres practice at 10 in the morning, you didn't have to have any story ready till 6 o'clock. Think about how different that is in our
without
world
tweeting
now.
or social media posts.
So you have to adapt and adjust, and the world now is websites and social media and Twitter feeds. So BuffaloSportsPage.com was founded by myself with my partner Kevin Sylvester, who used to work for many, many years with the Sabres. And, you know, I think we both saw an opportunity to bring some of our knowledge and expertise and perspective. That's a word I like to use a lot. There's not a lot of that in the world. When you're tweeting at 280 characters and everything is immediate reaction, love it, hate it, stupid, idiotic, whatever, there's not much perspective anymore. And I still think there's a place for that. I still think it's important to understand why decisions get made, why they're based on other decisions that were made. Everything just doesn't operate in this immediate nutshell. So that's where Kevin and I felt like there's a place. And again, we've adapted from Buffalo Sports Page even in the 2 years that it's been up, from a website where we're writing stories to now we're doing some videos, and we do a podcast a couple times a week. It's always evolving. And you know, I tell people the business of being a sportscaster is almost completely different than it was 10 years ago. And that's crazy to think that an industry, and it's not the only industry that's changed like that, but it's kind of crazy to think that things have completely changed.
Speaking of sports, your wife has an interesting backstory to sports. Tell us that.
Well, yeah, I mean, her dad is Ed Rutkowski, who was a member of the AFL championship teams for the Bills in '64 and '65. So she's grown up around a sports family and grown up with all of his teammates and the people that he knows, and obviously he went on to be the county executive and so forth as well too. Her memories are a little more of being on the stage during the victory celebrations, but you know, I mean, what a great opportunity it's been for me, who didn't grow up here, to learn about the history of those teams by getting to know Ed and Booker Edgerson and Al B. Miller and some of the great guys that played for those teams. To have the chance to sit and talk sports and football with them is amazing too. So, but it just means my wife likes to watch football as much as I do, and
how blessed
gets
are you,
into
Paul?
Oh my God, incredibly blessed.
So here we are, Paul. Tell us about your family. Your children are grown.
Yeah, my children are 23 and 21. My oldest daughter, Rachel, graduated from Canisius College, and she works for an ad agency downtown as a graphic designer. My youngest, Sydney, has one more year left at Buffalo State, where she'll major in hospitality, and she really enjoys. She works at a restaurant in the village of Hamburg, and really has embraced sort of what that industry is all about, and running banquets and running events and managing people. She really loves it, and she'll have a lot of great opportunities once she graduates. So I'm really proud of. They're great girls, and they work hard, and they're just terrific kids, and my wife and I are incredibly proud of them.
Oh, you're very blessed. Well, Paul, thanks for the opportunity to take a drive with me here on WBBZ-TV. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you on the lanes with Sue.
You betcha. You betcha.
All right. Thanks, Paul Peck.
Thanks for joining us on Drive With Me TV. It's time to check on the latest news and information. Let's go to the dashboard. Motor1.com reports sometimes being the best isn't enough. You have to keep pushing and trying to beat yourself. It's the mindset that works for Olympic athletes and also for a small Maryland company that modifies Corvettes. Genovation takes the iconic muscle cars, rips out the drivetrain and replaces it with twin electric motors and 44 kilowatts of batteries down the old transmission tunnel and where the fuel tanks used to be. The team was puttering about with its Genovation GXE in February when it set the speed record for an all-electric road-legal vehicle at 186.8 miles per hour. Now that's fast. This is shocking. Tesla.com says, ever since it was announced, people have been eagerly awaiting the $35,000 Tesla Model 3. That patience has been rewarded because Tesla officially announced that the budget version of the sedan is available now. While it is the base trim, the $35,000 Model 3 has 220 miles of range and can do 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. It can also hit 130 miles per hour. Many consider this to be the best deal Tesla offers and maybe the best deal on an electric car. From Hyundai USA, most people have no idea what a digital key is or that they've been around for a while. Instead, with Hyundai announcing it'll start offering an app for unlocking your car with a smartphone instead of a physical key. There are some declaring this the end of vehicle safety concerns. With this app installed, all you need to do is hold your phone up to either the driver's or front passenger's door handle to unlock the car. Then place your device on a wireless charging pad before pressing the ignition button. This is perhaps the most secure way to access and start a vehicle, so Hyundai deserves some kudos here. Now it is time for our dashboard trivia question of the week. Can you guess the average speed for the winner of the very first Grand Prix auto race? We'll be back with the answer right after this. Welcome back to Drive With Me TV. Here is the answer to our dashboard trivia question. The year was 1901 when the first Grand Prix race was won with an average speed of 46 miles per hour. Now that's slow. And that's what's happening on dashboard.
Warm weather is finally here, and that means we'll be out driving in our regular cars or custom cars. But if you get into a tangle with another vehicle, I've got a guy who can help. Frank Todaro from Collision Masters.
We realize that you're already in a bad predicament. You got in an accident or somebody hit you. No one plans them. That's why they're accidents. We want you to come in. We want to sign you up, have your authorizations all set with your insurance company. We work with all the insurance companies and get you on your day with your life. From welders to, we have all the mechanical, and we also have new alignment machines, tire machines. It's a one-stop shop. And we also just got the latest spray booth technology.
If you need to connect with Frank, check out Collision Masters in downtown Buffalo at 716-855-2886. In Amherst, call 716-838-1166 and online at collision-masters.com. Whether you're a whiz at fixing your car or, like most people, need some help along the way, our friend Pete Dahmer can help as we take you under the hood.
I'm Pete with PRD Performance, and this is Under the Hood. How many times have you come out to your car in the morning and went to go start it and it's dead? Well, today we're going to teach you how to jump start your car safely. What you want to do before you declare that it's a bad battery is make sure your headlights are off, your interior lights are off, and your interior accessories are off. If you go to start your car with those off and it doesn't turn over, then you'll want to take the next steps in jump starting your car. Next, put the key in the ignition and see if your dashboard lights up as usual. If the lights are dim, that's also an indication that your battery might need to be jumped. Third, try to start the car. Does it turn over slowly or does it turn over quickly? If slowly, you'll probably need to jump start your battery. Now let's get to jump starting your car. The first thing you're going to do is go to the dead battery. Sometimes they'll have a cover on like this over the positive. So you'll take that off and you take your jumper cables, make sure you have a good set. First you'll connect the positive to the dead battery. And then make sure that this ground or negative terminal is on plastic. Next you'll want to take your positive clamp and put it on the car that you're using to jump start your dead battery. Your next step will be to take this negative clamp and put it also on the negative terminal. In this case, it's actually off the battery, but sometimes you can connect it to the battery. The next step is to connect your negative clamp to a good ground. A good ground in your engine bay would be any bare metal. This right here is a good example of that. Now that we've made all the connections safely and the car that is helping us has been running for 2 to 5 minutes, we're going to want to try to start our car. So once you're in your vehicle, you're going to want to start it. It looks as if we've successfully jumped our car. Now that we've successfully jumped our vehicle, we're going to want to disconnect the jumper cables in a safe way. First, you're going to want to start with your negative clamp on the jump car. Place that so it doesn't touch any bare metal, and then you'll move over to the helper vehicle and you'll disconnect the negative clamp there. Then you start with the positive, disconnect that, and you'll move your way back to the jump vehicle's positive. Make sure they stay away from the vehicle and you've successfully jump started your car. I'm Pete with PRD Performance. Thanks for joining me under the hood. We'll see you next time on Drive With Me TV.
Hello, how are you?
Hey,
Adam,
Dave
nice to meet
Jixter,
you.
nice to meet you. So we are at Towne Audi
Correct.
here in Bowmansville.
Bowmansville, just
There we go.
outside the airport.
Yeah, it's not that far. Bowmansville sounds like it's far away, but it's really not.
No, it's not. Small little town.
So I'm all excited because I never had the opportunity to drive an Audi.
Really?
Never.
I think you're going to be very pleased with the RS5.
And this is beautiful.
It is. It's in a Nardo gray.
It's a beautiful gray, but a tough gray all at the same time. This is a performance.
It is. Any of the RS models, they're hand-built track cars that you can drive comfortably daily as well. All-wheel drive, so all through the wintertime you'll be set. But
I'm going to ask you probably a question that probably a lot of people ask you. The first question I'm going to ask you about this car is how fast does it go?
you can have a package with a limiter to 175.
175.
It's got a 2.9 liter twin turbo 6-cylinder, puts out approximately 450 horsepower, and 8-speed transmission.
It sounds tough too.
It is. It's got definitely a mean sound with the baffles open.
You trust me to drive it?
Yeah, I do.
Let's take it for a ride.
Let's see what happens.
All right. All right, Adam, here we are in the Audi RS5. Very comfortable in here. The nice little bucket race car seats.
Right, we've got side bolsters, your lumbar support, massaging seats as well.
All right, so high tech here.
Absolutely. It looks like a lot's going on. It's actually very simple to use. So for the gear selector, we do always have to press the side button.
Your seatbelt on?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I can tell this car has some. This is, I feel like I'm driving a race car. I really do.
Yeah.
I've been in a race car before.
Have you? It's a good comparison. So this would be our competition to the BMW M4, the Mercedes C63 AMG.
Now, what is the most popular Audi model that you sell?
I would say a Q5. It's won a ton of awards on all of the Car and Driver, Motor Trend, and the mid-size SUV.
Oh wow, this goes from like 0 to 55 in how many seconds?
So I can do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds.
Oh, this is great. This is just great. Now, when we were waiting to get in the car, I was in your showroom, and there was a young lady there that was getting a service done on her vehicle, and she told me that when you drive an Audi, you're never going to want to drive another vehicle again. Is that true?
I find that with a lot of customers. Yeah, we have a very high retention rating with people just loving the vehicles. A lot of that has to do with the all-wheel drive system. Traditionally, an all-wheel drive system is primarily a front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive biased vehicle. Once a wheel slips, the rest turn on. Our system is called Quattro. What makes us different is that the system is always active. So rather than waiting for a wheel to slip, what it's doing is it's always looking for the wheels that are the hardest to turn, meaning the most grip, sending power to those wheels.
That's amazing.
So in turn, the system is active before it has to be. Those initial slips that would start the system in another vehicle have already been reduced.
It just grips the road. I mean, it's like sticking to the road. And I feel safe in this car too.
Yeah, they are. They're very safe. Audi
a lot of
doesn't
performance
hold back.
cars, you feel fast and you feel cool in it, but you don't really feel safe. In this car, I feel safe.
Yeah, it's a heavy, it's a solid vehicle. And you know, for the size of the car, it actually does have a lot of weight behind it. Big, thick, heavy doors. If you notice, I mean, we do hear the engine, but passing traffic, you don't really notice.
In a vehicle like this, an R5 Audi starts at about what?
We can be in the low 80s. They're going to jump anywhere from 80 to 97, 98, depending on if it's a four-door. We have carbon fiber trim packages. There's a couple different track packages, carbon ceramic brakes. So it can add up pretty quick.
Now, Adam, Audi is a German-made company, obviously. Your competitors are Mercedes, Lexus,
BMW. That would primarily be the competition. If we're looking at SUV, it would be a Land Rover,
sure,
Jaguar.
And how does Audi stay above the rest?
Besides the
green arrow, you can go on a green arrow.
Besides the all-wheel drive system, I would say it is the build quality. Whether it is one of our entry-level vehicles up to our $130,000 A8, our flagship vehicle, it holds that same build quality, the fit and finish. If it looks like leather, carbon fiber, or metal, it is a real material. In some of the vehicles, we're using a real single piece of wood for the trim where you can actually feel the wood grains. It's little things that you pick up on over the course of an ownership for that sense of quality.
The technology, the look, the feel, the company's got a lot going for it. Again, we touched base on it too, but another feature that I love about this car is you do not need to leave, your eyes do not need to go anywhere else. Everything is right here in your zone.
Audi is very focused on safety, whether it is the side assist, there's active lane keeping assist, so over 40 miles an hour the car will gently guide you back into your lane.
I mean, we have GPS right here, but we also have it right here.
Right.
Amazing. And we're back home. Adam, thanks for the test drive on this bad boy. RS5. That's it for this edition of Drive With Me TV, Western New York's only automotive television show. Tell us what you think. Join the conversation at WBBZ-TV on Facebook and at WBBZ on Twitter.
Look for our next episode coming soon when we look back at the hottest wheels in Western New York from the Buffalo Auto Show. Get more great advice under the hood from Pete and take a test drive in another great car. Thanks for watching on air and online.